Mr. Chairman, and I rise in opposition to Mrs. McMahon. I like her personally. I respect the work she has done in building a large and successful business. But I think the main point that has to be made in this particular moment in history is it really doesn't matter who the Secretary of Education is, the Secretary of Labor is, because those people will not be calling the shots. What I think should be of great concern to every member of this committee, every member of Congress and the American people, is that this great nation, founded on democratic principles, founded around a separation of powers between the legislative branch, the judiciary, the executive branch, is moving more and more toward an authoritarian society where all power is resting in the hands of a few in the White House. The other day, the president, whether facetiously or not, and I suspect not quite facetiously, talked about being a king, talked about the day before, that when you're trying to quote unquote save the country, you don't have to worry about the law. Well, that is not what this country is about. That's not what the founding fathers, in their brilliance. You know, the older I get, the more I respect the work that these guys did back in the 1770s. They were nobody's fools. And they understood you don't give one branch all the power. They fought the King of England, which now takes us back to the Department of Education. And that is, in a sense, it doesn't really matter who the secretary will be, because he or she will not have the power. I think that everybody in this committee understands that we are living in a time of massive income and wealth inequality, and the Department of Education provides vital resources for 26 million kids who live in high poverty school districts. These are the kids who most need our help. Is it the responsibility of the federal government to see that every kid in America, whether you're poor, middle class, or rich, gets a quality education? In my view, it is. It really is. And that is what a lot of what the Department of Education does. Is it a perfect entity? No. Is it bureaucratic? Yes. Can we reform it? Yes. Should we abolish it? No. The Department of Education provides funding that millions of public school students with disabilities desperately need. And without federal funding, where would these kids be? It supports nearly 10 million children enrolled in rural schools. It provides Pell Grants to 7 million low-income kids to help pay for the cost of college. It enforces our federal civil rights laws to ensure all students can get a decent education no matter what the color of their skin may be, no matter what their religion is, no matter what their gender is. So, Mr. Chairman, I will vote to oppose Ms. McMahon. I respect her, I like her, but I will vote no.
And just, you know, to the ranking member, I guess, or minority ranking member, I want to point out that it's interesting to hear you talk about, you know, the United States and the manner that it is and the way that we perform, when sometimes you actually openly present yourself as a socialist and what that means for this country. It's also interesting to hear you guys try to defend the Department of Education. When the Department of Education was first stood up, we were ranked #1 in the world globally in education, and today we rank 34th. And you think it's working? I don't even know how you defend that. I don't know how you can possibly, with a straight face, say that that's working. What we're doing is a definition of insanity, which means we're repeating the same thing, expecting different results. God forbid that President Trump comes in and actually wants to make changes. My kids all go to the public school system. My mother was a special ed teacher. My sisters, special ed teachers. My grandmother, my aunt, and my brother-in-law all in the school system. All teachers or principals. I get it. I understand it. Talk to them and ask them how well it's working. It's not. If we really say we're for the kids, then let's try something drastic. Let's actually make a change, because we're doing nothing but going backwards. And our test scores haven't improved since 1979. They've just continued to fall. So with that being said, I'm all for change, and I'm a definite yes. With that, sir, I yield back.
Mr. Chair.
With that,
Chair.
since